Hello, FBO Life Group leaders. Good to see you guys, even from this virtual porch of mine. I'm David Loveless, and most of you know Darrel Rewis as well. And so we just wanted to come and give you an update, tell you what's going on in group world at First Orlando. First of all, just a heads up of this coming weekend. We're really excited. I think it's formally called Palm Sunday, right, Darrel?
I
And
think so.
yeah, I think so. And so a part of that, after Pastor David finishes his teaching, he's going to lead us in communion. So we want to encourage you to have elements ready for either your group you're meeting with virtually or else your family that you're gathered with. And we just want to remind you, all of us have been empowered by the Holy Spirit already to do such things. And as pastors at First Orlando, we just want to affirm what the Holy Spirit has already empowered. And it's that you can serve communion to other people. You can actually baptize other people. You can baptize family members. You have been commissioned by the Holy Spirit to do such things. Darrel, what are several suggestions that we have for people when it comes to serving communion, either virtually, as 8, 10, 20 of them are meeting in a Zoom room or else with their family life?
Sure. Well, I think you hit on the number one thing is that it is absolutely within their capacity to do this, and we encourage it, both baptism and the Lord's Supper. The family aspect of the church is really being picked up on now and really being emphasized, and that's a good thing. And so we're going to put together just a basic how-to, and we'll link it in the email that you've gotten this video in. Just some tips and ideas, the premise behind the Lord's Supper and communion and how to do it. And, sometimes I think people think that there are magic words that go into it that we pastors have to declare, but that's not the case. And so we're going to make it easy on you and make sure that you feel empowered, not just for your family, but for your small group as well.
Yeah. And, we just want to make sure you're also aware of the fact that it's legal to use any elements, okay? It is. It does. You don't need grape juice and a cracker or anything else. You can use RC Cola and a moon pie. And the point is it's intended to symbolize something. So we know there's nothing holy about the actual juice or cracker using those specific elements. We believe you can use anything, because all it's intended to do is to act as a symbol. It's not the moon, it's a finger pointing to the moon. Does that analogy
Sure.
make sense?
Yeah, and certainly those elements were most likely chosen because they were the common elements of their day and time and region, and so those were things that they could easily get their hands on. Certainly right now we're limited in what we have access to, and so there's freedom there. There's great freedom there. Yep. There's a sobriety that I think we have when we participate in communion or baptism, but there's also this great joy that I think the Father wants us to have in doing these things in remembrance of the sacrifice he made so that we don't have to make the same type of sacrifice. So find some sobriety in it and some seriousness with your groups, I'd say, but make sure that you understand the freedom that you have and the great joy that comes along with having the opportunity to participate.
Yeah. So you don't have to do that with your group virtually. I have done this before on a number of occasions, and it works just fine. You just have to get over a couple of hurdles of, but you guys are already doing that with the groups that you're leading. Darrel, also one other thing as we think about next Thursday, you want to talk about communion in relationship with that?
Sure. Next Thursday, you'll know, is Maundy Thursday. Maybe some of you have heard that terminology, and it's simply the Thursday leading into Easter weekend, when we believe it represents the day that the Lord would have shared that first or last supper with his disciples. And so it's representative of a holiday as such, that he would do that and that we might participate in that as well. And we've got our regular Thursday night Zoom training with you and our leaders to just care for one another. But if you want to skip out on that, we would love for you to schedule a time to just celebrate, Thursday with your group as well. Maybe that's a good place to do it.
Yeah, I agree. A couple of other things before we wrap this up. just want to give you a few updates. We've heard from many of you. By the way, I love the pictures you guys have been sending me of your groups meeting online and taking a quick screenshot of that and sending it. Also, I've received a lot of feedback from many of you about how you've been surprised how well your group has gone meeting in this new online virtual world. And we're thrilled to hear that. We are so proud of you guys for the way that you've engaged, the way you've been adaptable, the way you've been flexible in all of this. Some of you have emailed me or texted me and said, hey, here's our #1 surprise in the last couple of weeks. For the first time ever in the history of our group, we have 100% of the people showing up, and they're showing up almost every single time. And I'm like, yeah, that part of that we know has to do with our being shuttered in, but probably another part of it is it's just so dang convenient. You know, you don't have to travel anywhere, get dressed or anything like that. Even though Darrel and I have to make sure we put on lots of makeup before we make these public appearances to you guys. So, so if those things have been really exciting to hear about, we're loving to hear how you are supporting all the people in your group, pastoring them, shepherding, praying for them, you know, having enter into discussion around the weekends, you know, with this brand new discussion guide that we've begun releasing. So all of that's great. Hey, Darrel, why don't you tell them real quick about some of the new groups we've started in the last 10 days. How many groups and how many new people have been a part of them?
Yeah, we've probably launched a dozen new groups with almost 100 people in just the last week or so. Many of our pastors are leading those groups, and so really excited about those. I just spoke with Pastor Jeff Thompson, and he just had a noon group that went really well, and they're actually challenging themselves to each invite someone else for next week's group. So that's just an awesome thing that's happening with a lot of our pastors. You know, David, I don't think I've told you about this, but one of the things that we're gonna offer up to these guys probably in next week's email is a couple more how-tos on just some social aspects of things that they can do with their group. One of them being to watch a Netflix movie together and simulcast, to do it like on the exact time. We're going to do a how-to. I don't know how to do it even yet, but several of our young adult groups are doing that, and they're going to write a how-to to share with the rest of the folks. And so we've got some cool things like that coming so that they can do even more than just their discussion guide with the groups.
Great. So is this watching 10 Commandments together, or is this Tiger Boy, or what's that new Tiger show?
I'm not sure we're going to give a recommended list of what to watch, but just how to watch.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit safer. Hey, before we sign off, guys, just want to remind you that we've started this week a brand new element for all of you that are life group leaders or assisting life group leaders. Every Thursday night for the next little while, every Thursday night, 8 o'clock, myself or Darrel, both of us or one of us, we want to meet with you. You don't have to come to this group leader meeting. It's just, we know you happen to be hanging around the house, and we would love for you to hear from one another just what's been going on with your groups as you've transitioned into this new reality, and what are some of the ideas, some of the best ways you're supporting each other. Again, for you to learn from other group leaders. We'll also be giving you some tips on how to best facilitate these kinds of groups as opposed to when you're live and in person. And so we just want to be a source of encouragement. Again, you don't have to come, but if you would love to do that, we would love to have this kind of interaction with you. And we're already loving the fact that we get to have a lot more connection with you, it feels like in the last few weeks, than ever before. Darrel, have I missed anything?
No, I think we covered enough for this week.
Okay, great. We're praying for you guys. Thanks again for all that you're doing and being difference makers for the kingdom.